Hi, so we got a neck, we got a body, and we got a bag of bits, so it's time to put it all together. Before that, I thought I'd show what you get when you buy a cheap loaded pickguard off of Amazon. Initially I was going to get the pickguard and pick up separately and build it all myself. Then I discovered how cheap loaded pickguards were. So this just to show you what you get for your £16.99. I first fell in love with this one here. I didn't want to wait 2 weeks for China to deliver it, so I ended up buying this one. But now I've had this hanging out for 2 weeks anyway, so never mind. I'll have to live with this one. So it's packaged in a reasonably sturdy box. And inside this, it was inside a bag, but I'm not going to try and get it back in there again. And it's well protected in this sort of purpose-shaped egg carton thing. So yeah, we can see we have our pickguard with the pickups in it. Looking around the back, they've got very tiny pots, but that's fine. And weirdly, I don't know if we can see this here, the humbucker has a Seymour Duncan logo on the back. It wasn't advertised as such, presumably because Amazon won't sell rip-offs. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is actually try to fit the trem in the back of here. If you saw the earlier videos, you'll see how little wood there is here. So I'm going to do that first, and if it all goes horribly wrong, then I'll have to come up with a plan B. So best to do that first. There's plenty of videos online of people showing how to do this professionally, so I'll just go stop motion for me. So after a lot of wrestling, it's in. Unfortunately, I took a notch out there in my efforts. I need to tighten these up a bit, and see how the tension goes. Wrestling these in was really hard work. And on this side, I've kind of I've screwed this down quite firm because I have no intention of doing any mega dive bombs with it, because that would be insanity. Now we've got the trem in, I think the next thing to do is to get the neck on. Now, eyeballing this, these holes don't line up with these, and in fact if you look how that's not even slightly centered. So I've got to try and work out how best to deal with that situation. So yeah, the holes don't line up, and they're pretty wonky on the body as well, so this is where they turned out. The worst thing to happen here is we've got a split now. I was only trying to get a little pilot hole in there, and unfortunately that went badly wrong. These two less so. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is fill them, and then sand them flat, and then build some new holes. So yeah, we've got these holes. I'm going to fill them using toothpicks, which I've snipped the ends off. The internet advises against doing it this way, but I don't have any dowel, I don't have any epoxy, I don't have anything remotely suitable, so super glue and toothpicks is how we're going to go. And of course I've just run out of super glue, so in the spirit of using what I've got, I'm going to use some poly cement. So at this point I've sliced off with a Stanley knife the toothpicks, and then I made a tool for scraping to get it as flat as possible using an old blade, and then a sanding block to get it flat. The finish has come off, but that really doesn't matter. I'm not entirely confident this is going to work, especially this one here where the hole is literally on top of the other hole, and also apparently I've split the bottom of this here. So this time, before I try and screw it in and measure up the holes, there is I don't know, more play there than I would like. I mean, ideally, if I line it up with the edge here, and there's not too much of a gap there, it should work out. But what I'm going to do is thread a couple of strings through, and then kind of tie them through the hole at the top, and then and then I will screw back down with these just to mark the surface of the neck where I think it's straight, and then I can get drilling and do it properly. So after lining it up using strings through the holes in the headstock where the tuners will go, I've identified where the holes should be drilled. Now clearly this distance here is a lot closer to the edge than this distance here. These two not so much different, but I guess this is due to the crazy positioning of the holes in here. And I'm not going to do anything to change that because that would be lunacy. If this doesn't work, I will try and get some bolt holes that I can sink into here and then use bolts rather than screws. Which does raise the question, why is it called a bolt-on neck when we're all screwed on? But there you go. Now, if I were a more sensible man, I would have measured the depth of the holes before filling in the old ones to work out how far to drill down. So I'm going to I've screwed one of them all the way in now, and I'll kind of measure it using my finger. And then put a bit of tape around it to stop it going in too deep. As things stand, I have made a horrible mistake. So we've got the trim in. Works well. Bridge works well. I used the strings to line up the neck. Took them off again. Fitted the neck. Fitted the tuners. The tuners are off an old Yamaha. That one there. But as I was finished fitting the tuners, I noticed a massive gap had appeared here. When I first drilled the holes to put the screws in, my drill bit was too small. I thought I didn't want to risk splitting the wood, so I went to the next size up, which turns out is too big. So now I'm a bit hesitant to fill the holes again, otherwise it's just going to be made of cocktail sticks. So I think my two options are to investigate some sort of bolt-in system, so I can put those in and then bolt it together, or I could glue the neck in. I don't see that I ever want to change it, so yeah, I'll go for one of those options. So for now, until I know what I'm doing, goodbye. And I think at this point I'd stopped recording any footage because I'd managed to put the pickguard in completely wrong. No, the pickguard was fine. I put the bridge too far up, meaning I then had to shave material off the pickguard to actually make it fit. As you can see in this picture here, it's finally on. The guitar's finally working. So in the next video I'm going to be sorting out the neck, making sure it's level, and we can finally hear what it sounds like. Goodbye.